until a launch of the jihad came 2001. And the full blown was just moving. We are just enjoying it, pressing it down. Women are being raped. Come and see, we have to be slave to the Islamic terrorists. They will force you to go and farm for them. If our local native people do not go and farm for them, then even if you farm, they know you are farm, you will not harvest anything. Until this thing grown up to become a full-blown genocide. I have the statistics. I have been to the monument. I have called names. These are the names of...
This video is very touching. This is Reverend Ezekiel Dachomo, one of the heroes of this Christian genocide going on, that have been doing a lot from the north, exposing or revealing a lot of secrets that people have never heard about, people never said anything about. All the killings that have been going on, he documented all of them. Everybody, if you have been on social media, you see what this man has been doing on social media, to an extent that he also cried out that his life is at stake. They are threatening him here and there. Until yesterday or a day after, one army or one of the Oga in army went to his church. Some of them, they went to his church to minister and reassure him, giving his assurance that your life is not at risk. You are protected. We were sent to your church. We were sent to your church to give you the assurance that we see what you are doing. God is with you. We are with you. Nothing is going to happen to you. That the army and his members, they went to his church to minister, to just give him that respect, to give him the reassurances that, hey, we like what you are doing. We appreciate that nothing is going to happen to you. Now, this man finally granted an interview. You need to listen to what he said. There's a lot of things he said on this video. Do you understand? He has been revealing a lot of secrets, a lot of things on social media that have been going everywhere. Reasons why his life is at stake or is at risk, why they have been threatening him. People that do not want to see Nigeria progress. So now I want you to please take your time, listen to what he said on this video. Very important. You are going to hear something. It's very emotional. Very emotional. This video you are going to see. You know those videos that he usually do, 3-5 minutes. There's no time to explain. Now take your time. At least you get to hear a lot of things he said, a lot of secrets that nobody has ever told you, that I think you've never heard of what he's going to say. That's why I say please watch this video. For anybody to say there's no Christian genocide going on in Nigeria, that person must be pretended to be asleep. If he's awake, he will see that there is Christian genocide going on in Nigeria. There is no way you continue or you will pretend to be asleep forever. Any day you wake up, you will still wake up to the reality to see that Christian genocide is going on in Nigeria. Even if you are a Reno or Mokri or a version of Reno or Mokri, you will still come back to realization that what you said then, you were lying. So a lot of persons have done justice to that. That has been established that there is Christian genocide going on in Nigeria. Thousands, hundreds of Christians has been killed so far. So this man is able to do justice to this, exposing a lot of things with statistics or with numbers rather. So please take your time, watch the video. We'll come back and talk about it. But please like, share, comment, and subscribe to this YouTube channel. Be your guy, run out for me and subscribe.
The United States President Donald Trump made global headlines when he threatened that there might be, or they're considering a military intervention in Nigeria, and that is because of what he called a Christian genocide. However, the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Yusuf Tugar of Nigeria, dismissed the claim, and he says it is false and inflammatory, and he insists that insecurity affects all of Nigerians equally. Now, my first question is, what exactly is your claim? Are you saying that Christians are being targeted in Nigeria? The killings in Nigeria are targeted? Or are you saying that Christians are disproportionately affected, even though the killing is targeted at everyone?
By the power of Jesus Christ, who came and died on the cross to redeem us from the power of sin. And we still call upon the name of the Lord Jesus Christ to deliver us from terrorists. Islamic terrorists. I said it confidently. Northern Islamic evil satanic agenda that want to take over this country and lure us to be like Turkey, to be like Afghanistan, to be like other nations that have no peace in the Islamic Middle East. A voice must cry out to invite the heavily throned government to interfere. And this is what is happening today. We have been crying out for over 30 years. Right from 2021. It is before that time, because 2021, this thing come glaring. There's a jihad moving to destroy Nigeria. Before 2021, there was a lot of casualties that will be received all over the north. I would say Nigeria. But it has been silenced, enduring the pain. People that have been killed in one day, one night, 501. This happened on the 7th March 2010 in Dogonawa, Gemburuk. Gemburuk is a local dialect name from our forefathers. When they came, gradually our forefathers accommodated them in peace. But when they grown up with external forces, they changed the name to Dogonawa. Abandon the native. This is a jihad movement. When they want to take the land, they invited Islamic terrorists from the far north, Niger, Chad. If Nigeria don't know about it, please know about this. Why did they cancel history in Nigerian secondary school? It's jihad. So that we will not read about the history of how Ottoman Danfodio was moving towards the cause to force everybody in Nigeria to become a Muslim. But our forefathers blocked him from flowing into the south. They hit that the west, southwest, southeast, south that they are supposed to receive. We are the ones that are receiving it at the middle bed. We stop that hit by standing on our faith in Christ. We refuse to submit our soul to Islam. That is why in one night, look at it, 501 people were killed completely in one night. I was there in the morning after the insurgent left. Come and see blood everywhere. In the process of carrying dead corpse from every house, from some on the road, some on the field, some in the gutter. Depends on where they met you. They slaughtered you. A woman gave me testimony that day. It was God in tears that saved her. When they came, there's a Pharaoh, because it was during the moonlight that very day. When they came, chanting Allah Akbar, Allah Akbar, Allah Akbar, entering this village, she saw one of the insurgents after he has beheaded the head, blood of a Christian victim. He licked the blood. She was watching him, shivering. With her child, she covered his mouth. This is a religion that chant Allah Akbar, calling people for worship. And the same religion, they shout Allah Akbar, calling people to come and kill.
Okay, but Reverend, are we now saying that all of the 500 plus persons that were killed that night are Christians?
All of them are Christians.
Because I want us to look at some national data here. In 2024, Human Angle Media reported nearly 9,600 deaths nationwide, and it estimated roughly 60% of the deaths were Muslim and 40% were Christian victims. And this was driven largely by farmer-herder clashes, terrorism, and communal retaliation. So when we see figures like this, does this now challenge the position that the killings are religiously motivated, especially against
let me tell you something about these statistics. They say 60% Muslim. Killed by who? By Muslims. Based on different faith of sect. And do you know why this thing? It is the blood of the Christian that is fighting Islam. Those that have been killed. You see, when they came in, the factuals, in Borno, they follow villages. On Sunday, they will enter a village and meet people worshiping on Sunday. And they will separate the male from the female. And all the male in the local area, like Gwaza area, Madagali, these are in the north Borno area. And this is what is happening. Do you know something? They will slaughter all the male. Those that will survive in that church, they may have not come to church and they were able to escape death. And the women, they will select the one that they needed. They will rape them. They will do what they want. And this is one, they will leave the children at the mercy. Many of the Christian women relocated to the middle belt. And their land was seized. Their crops was vandalized. And even as I'm talking now, let the Nigerian government prove me wrong. Let them go to Ngoshe mountain around Gwaza. It has been occupied by Boko Haram. You can't climb that mountain. They declared it as their headquarters, a colony. And it is from there that they used to come down to come and kill. Now in all the village, after sending the Christian away, the Christian relocated. If you see Christian, it's in the urban area where there is security. Maybe inside Maiduguri, you find Christian. I've been there. And most of them, if you are to interview them, fact-finding, you will discover they run for refuge into the city. At least that's where they're getting covered. Rural areas of Borno, hardly you will find a Christian. The same thing in Katsina, the same thing in Zamfara, the same thing in Kano. If you are there as a Christian, you ought to be allegiant to them to control your life. So after they are left, now the machinery, the insurgent that they have brought, then the issue of faith came in. What happened? They started hitting. The Fulani were hitting the houses, killing them in the mosques, killing them in area. They know this is factual statement because I've been there. I preach on television of Zamfara, NTA. I preach on Katsina. Even the day that I was in Gusau, that day, Matawale village, the president, his village was attacked. We were busy praying for them. Those that were able to escape, the Boko Haram entered that village of Matawale. And this is where Muslims are killing Muslims, the Izalas are killing other faith because of their indifferences. It is the blood of innocent Christians that is fighting them that were killed.
Okay, I want us to talk about the attacks, the alleged attacks in churches.
Yes.
Right. So you've shared harrowing accounts of your grandmother's heart being removed, and you also talked about your uncle's tongue being cut off.
Yes.
You also mentioned your best friend's wife and her kids, her 5 kids. You even said that she was, backing one of them. Now, recently, we saw that the pastor of Flaming Fire's ministry, Simon Black, was killed, but then he was killed in the farm. So all of these attacks, were they carried out in churches, or were most of them carried out in churches or in different regions?
In different regions. Some on the farm, some outside on the way from the market going home. They'll be ambushed, and hardly you will hear that. And let me tell you something. They say farmer is a slogan of Islamic movement to deceive the world. That is farmers clashing. We have that even before the colonial, after the independent. We have that. We settle differences. Once Hardo or a Fulani man discover that his children have destroyed fire, before you wake up, he will be there at your doorstep. After worshiping, doing his salah, he will come and wait and say, please, yesterday my children came. That's how we are living peacefully. Because of that, we sympathize with them. We say, it's okay. But the present set that I know, they are really troublemakers. And this is what is happening today, my sister. They butchered us, even in the market. They can enter with AK-47 sporadically. And this is where they came to my village, BA. It's in Liom local government, that's Liom district. BA, this is where I grown up. And the Fulani knows that that is my village. They invented chanting, Allah Akbar, Allah Akbar, sporadic shooting all over the village from different angles. And this is the sound of their guns. I don't know whether it comes from, is it Iraq or Iran or anything. You hear kokum, 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 kokum. This is the sound of the terrorists in Islam. And when they enter the village, and this is what happened. They move after that night. Those that were able to escape helter-skelter, they were able to go and hide. Then they burned the villages. I was called. I have to take a journalist to that village the following morning. Because I wanted to go down there. They said, no, don't come this night. They can do something for you. I was crying. I couldn't sleep. My wife is here with me. She know I was restless in Bukuru that time. Until when it was in the morning, I was able to move. Come and see children that came out from the bush. And they were in in a trauma. Women that hid themselves and went reluctantly into the village. The youths that escaped, they gathered themselves and come back into the village. They were following me into the house. What will I see? I was able to see my grandmother that I grown up with in Gomata. And the youths were challenging me that they want us to bring something for their self-defense. And we didn't do anything. And look at it here. When I saw her corpse, the youths are the one that opened her chest for me. And I saw a broken knife. There was no heart. They asked me, would they remove that knife? I said, no, leave it there. Let that knife become a weakness for us when eternity comes. Wherever they are, they will not escape judgment. Then they say, I should follow them again. Behind the yard, here is my uncle's corpse called Dangai. His tongue was removed. I asked the youth. They asked me, what will I do? That day, I was surprised to see the governor, Governor Jonah Jam. I had serene. He came to the village. And you have to cross 2 rivers. He came. And we did the burial. 13 people were killed. The monument is there. We didn't build it, but by God's grace, we'll build it. They took me to my childhood friend. We grown up. Dalio gang. What will I see? So I went into his house. I saw his wife, 4 children. They are on the other side struggling. And the woman, there's nothing she can do. The fire just came down and burned them all. The woman quickly pulled her child at the back, seeking for the way to escape. I discovered they locked the door so that none of them will come out. That is how we buried her with her child at the back. The agony of Christian in Nigeria.
So I want to find out, all of these attacks that you have mentioned, they're quite harrowing, and I'm sorry about your grandmother and your uncle. Have there been instances where you heard about Muslims also being attacked in a similar manner?
Let me tell you, no Christian attack Muslims. If you see a Muslim dead, where did he die? It is in our village.
So you're saying the Muslims also attacked other Muslims?
I'm talking about when you see another attack, Muslims are saying they are killed, we killed them. Ask them, where did we kill them? In self-defense in the village, casualties came. In our village, they loot the village. Look at this village. Look at this material. These are all the houses that they burned. Look at the number of people, number of houses destroyed, 120 in one village. Total number of dead. Because God was able, and this is Christmas Eve, 1 person. But the other village, you can see me at their gravesite burying people at that place. But this village, disease, and this is the person that died, Mr. Tambaya. Total number of displaced people in that one village that they burned, including the church building. These are factuals that are here. In that process, some of the Muslim fought casualties. And there's one thing, the Fulani always come with extra people that in case, in self-defense, they fought casualties, they drag their corpse. They know I'm saying the truth. They know, you are listening to me. They drag their corpse to their Ruga. And they will go and videotape and say, we killed them. Where? We have never moved to Ruga where they are settling. But I'm asking God, God, if it is your will, give us just 1 day to visit Ruga. Then they will know what stuff Christians are made of. But we'll be exercising patience based on our faith in Christ. Jesus said, love your enemy. If they are hungry, feed them. If they are sheltered, give them shelter. And we all did that. We give them place to sit down and rear their cattle. Even when we make harvest, we allow them to enter and eat the remaining crops that we left over. Look at another village again that I went. It was dangerous. Oh God, help me. This is where Reverend was killed. And look at the houses. They were burned down. And I thank God the chief of defense staff came. This is NTV community. They came, Nigerian government came. The present chief of defense staff, Junior Matawali, he came. That day I knelt down and begged them. Let them help us. Why is it that it's only the Muslim always come to our domain and attack us?
Okay, so you have mentioned that, in your statement now, you've mentioned that the governor of Plateau State came to one of the villages when it was attacked. You also mentioned that the chief of defense staff came. So that means that it has reached their ears. Has there been any follow-up since then regarding this? And what was the response?
Do you know that minister of, I don't get her name, that minister of humanitarian that was removed by present government? Because that woman was able to mobilize and bring materials as directed by the president. When she brought, I don't know what happened. After what she has done, there's a gimmick. Control by Islamic agenda in Aso-Rock. I don't know what happened. Just to hear that woman was removed. Maybe she has a shortcoming. But I know her shortcoming cannot be compared with Muslims that are working with Tinubu destruction of this nation, so but they are not removed. If
you're referring to Dr. Betayadu, is that it?
Yeah, that woman, I didn't get her name. That woman really helped. So I look at it, they say, Kai, this woman helped these people. In fact, she's going to cause harm for Islam in the north. They maneuver the way they remove her. You see, any person in Jos, when Darie, my governor, Joshua Darie, hear very well, they have been killing us in mass from village to village. And do you know what happened? When he saw in one of the village that this machinery that were hired, many of them, our youth killed them in our territory. So the former general secretary of Miyeti Allah, Saleh Bayari, he passed the corpse to the government house. I imagine that day, the governor, Darie, said, you people have been killing Christians. I didn't say anything. Because my hand, now you brought the corpse, what do you want me to do? The Christians have never packed their corpse to bring to me. It's an offense to Islamic war. Since from that day, they started attacking this man. Because they want him to use all machineries to kill the Muslims. But he refused.
Okay, very quickly, I want us to go back to the removal of the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs that you mentioned.
Yes.
Did she at any point offer support outrightly to the community?
No, yes, she did. She brought trailer of rice. She brought mattresses. She sent representative to Broad.
So are you now saying that you think her removal was attributed to that?
Let me tell you, at the shadow. But they know best. But one thing that I know, with what she has done for us, these people, when they kill us, they don't want the governor to come in. You see, when the governor stood, they forced their way to Obasanjo and he declared state of emergency. Daria was removed. And I thank God that day, after 6 months, they still stood with the enforcement that Daria should never come back. God chose me single-handedly at TCN and I spoke. My brothers, after they have deliberated who is who in Plateau, they said Daria should never come back. I will not forget. The former camp chairman, Yakub Pam, was there. So I raised my voice. I said, where is your brother? Don't you see Islamic agenda is a war on Plateau because it's a Christian state? Why should we reject our brother? Why should we become Cain to kill our brother? This thing is moving down to the south. God is asking the Yoruba Christians, where is your brother? And the Muslims, where is your brother? We are all Nigerians. We are supposed to protect one another. God is going to ask us, where is our brother? The Muslims in the north, the Fulani. If we have killed them in our mind, God is going to challenge us. Where is the blood of our brother?
Okay, Reverend. I would want to come back to that because, again, there have been speculations that different Christian organizations have been silent since since all of this began. But I want us to go on a short break. We're still having the NC exclusive with Reverend Ezekiel Dachomo. We're talking about the insecurity situation in Nigeria, especially, is it religiously motivated or not? Stay with us. This time, the President of the United States has warned that if the federal government of Nigeria does not act fast, there might be a military intervention in the country. But then again, the government has refused to accept that these claims of insecurity are pertaining to a particular religion. They say that insecurity affects every single person, religion or not, and it's not religiously motivated. But this time we have Reverend Ezekiel Dachomo, who has been saying that these killings are religiously motivated, targeted at the Christians. And today he has come with claims and proofs that he says are the things that he sees that makes him talk about this with so much passion. Thank you so much for being here again, sir.
Thank you very much, Mike.
All right, sir. Before the break, you were talking about some of these experiences, some of these killings that you have, you've seen the bodies, you've conducted mass burials. You also shared some accounts of things that happened in Dogonahawa village, and you talked about some things that happened in Yelwa Shandam. Now, one of the examples you gave was the fact that sometimes these attackers come to the churches and kill the men and rape some of the women, and then you also allege that some women are taken to neighboring villages. Run me through some of these experiences, because there have been speculations that since these attacks started, the Islamic groups or Islamic leaders have not really done anything in terms of sanctioning some of these Muslim attackers that have been alleged to attack these people. And it didn't just start in 2021. If we look back in history, we will talk about Deborah Yakubu, who was stoned to death in 2022. We'll also talk about Deaconess Eunice Olawale, who was murdered by alleged Muslim extremists in 2016. So people are saying that if it's not religiously motivated, why are these Islamist leaders not calling to order, or at least enforcing the sanctions and punishments of some of these perpetrators?
But you see, what happened? The real issue here is glaring. There are forces from the Islamic perspective that is being released so that the world will not know that Christians are not killed. But let's look at, to prove to you this is religion. They know. Look at Deborah killing. No cleric of Islamic condemn it. The mission of Leah is to show the world that they are in control of Christians. Nobody can do anything. The issue of Muslim ticket, that's a complete genocide to the Christian in Nigeria. And it's all plans towards Islamic people to take over Nigeria. Special advisor on security matters. It's a position that has become a birthright for Islam. Look at it. A non-cleric, Sheikh Yahya Jingir, came out publicly and say they should stop arresting Fulani. And he's the leader of Izala, the strongest sect in Islam. And all his people are allegiant to what he said. No government condemned him. No single cleric. They were silent about it. The man was boastful. And you will say that this thing is not religion?
Okay, Reverend Dachomo, let's talk about the warning that was issued by the President of the United States regarding a military intervention if the federal government doesn't act fast. Do you think that a U.S. intervention will solve the problem of insecurity, or would it just worsen the already existing